It's Tuesday afternoon at 4 p.m. in Switzerland. It's Space Café WebTalk time. Our Space Café WebTalk, 33 minutes with Maruska Strah, will begin soon. Thanks for joining us for this very informative and definitely very inspiring talk today about the World Space Week 2020. As always, we appreciate your participation and your ongoing feedback. I'm Torsten Kriening, your host today and publisher of SpaceWatch.Global. We are a Switzerland-based online platform for information in and about our space and new space activities in a geopolitical context. I think many of you already are familiar with our website, our bi-weekly and our daily newsletters. And of course, the Space Café podcast. Last one is the episode 10 featuring NASA astronaut Nicole Stott, and I can tell you it's worth listening if you like space, like we all do. Last week, we also got our fan shop online, where you can support us actively and become a space watcher. Edition 1 has cool mugs. That's now the time again to show the mug. Cool mugs and awesome t-shirts for you, your friends, and the ones you love. If you've missed any of our previous web talks, of course, we have an archive available on our webpage or in the event section and on YouTube. We host our Space Café Web Talks live on a weekly basis. This is already the 24th edition. I hope you mark Tuesdays at the same time in your calendars. Today, I'm very honored to be joined by a good friend and a wonderful person, Maruska Strah. Welcome to the show.
Thank you
Maruska,
so much,
you're welcome. Maruska is the current executive director of the World Space Week Association, and she has been passionate about space and space law ever since she read her first chapter on international space law, and I assume in very early age. Her interest only deepened during her internship in the United Nations Office for Outer Space Affairs, where she gained significant insights in the work of both the public and the private sector involved in the space industry. Maruska is a member of the European Center for Space Law, the International Institute of Space Law, and the American Institute of Aeronautics and Astronautics Space Traffic Management Working Group number 1, where she is leading the efforts of socialize the outcomes of the working group. She joins us today from Vienna, where she is starting and writing her PhD proposal, focusing on STM. Next to this super cool job at World Space Week, of course. With that, I'm proud to welcome you again, Maruska, in the show. Let us start with very generic question. What is the World Space Week? And can you give us, please, some history about it?
Let me first say thank you, Torsten, for the invitation and for this very kind introduction. It's an absolute pleasure to be here and to talk to all of you. I have to say, World Space Week and World Space Week Association has a very interesting history and it's a very interesting idea behind it. Last year in 2019, we celebrated already the 20th anniversary of World Space Week. We were very, very proud of that achievement. World Space Week, as we know it, was created in 1999 by the UN. That year, the UN held Unispace 3, a meeting of all spacefaring nations, and this resulted in the Vienna Declaration on Space and Human Development. The General Assembly agreed later on that year that 4 to 10 of October annually will be the World Space Week. I would like to mention here that these dates are not random. October 4th, as we know, was launch of Sputnik, and October 10th was the day of signing the Outer Space Treaty. So this week really is special for all of us space enthusiasts on so many different levels. Before World Space Week, as we know today, there was Space Week. It was celebrated in a number of nations and started as early as in 1980s. It started by Dennis Stone, who is currently the president of the Workspace Week Association, and is a wonderful mentor to me and to the rest of my team. And it started as a celebration of the Apollo 11 anniversary that July. Later on, that event was moved to the school year, and it was coordinated by a nonprofit organization called Space Week International Association. After the UN declaration, however, it was agreed together with the UN that the association would embrace the UN's dates and be the UN non-government organization partner in the global coordination of Workspace Week. The association later changed its name to Workspace Week Association. The first Workspace Week was celebrated in 2000, and we only had about 100 events in 29 countries. Working closely with UNUSA, with space agencies, also other space supporting organizations globally, the association recruited national coordinators. We are very grateful for their work even today. Event holders to expand annual celebration. And while this expansion was slow during the first decade, it accelerated to the second decade thanks to different factors. One was definitely social media, but also other means, like we were gaining recognition all this throughout all these years. An important milestone was 2007. It was the first year of tracking events in the online calendar, and we reported 407 events in 50 nations. 10 years later, this grew to 3,700 events in 80 nations. Last year, 2019, we broke the records. We noted 8,000 events in 96 countries worldwide. I firmly believe that without the organizers, without the participants, this would not be possible. These numbers are absolutely incredible, and they're more than we ever anticipated. In my personal opinion, however, I have to say that what I think is really important is not that we're just seeing a number of events that is growing. We also see an increase in numbers of countries that are participating. This shows that Space Week matters. It shows that space matters. And it shows that the growing importance of everything in connection to space, from technologies, applications, law, music, you name it, is visible and is important to people. Indeed, Workspace Week has become a unique global platform, and we are efficiently promoting space and also the vibrant space community, while we are stimulating education, and in parallel, we are working with other organizations that are involved in space activities. And we are doing our best to lead this biggest space event on Earth. We also expanded our board of directors. We now have many global space leaders. We recruited several officers, and we have an incredible team of staff and volunteers that dedicated their time and their expertise so we could upgrade our technologies, upgrade our networks, and strengthen the brand. We are very transparent, and we value our partners, we value the sponsors, and again, without the participants, also national coordinators, this would definitely not be possible. All this dedication that is coming from our supporters, from the donors, from partners, from board, officers, staffs, volunteers, you name it, this is really crucial for us. And I am sure that because of this dedication and passion for space, we're gonna see the third decade of Workspace Week celebration even bigger and more interesting. And I'm looking forward to see what everyone is gonna come up with.
So you just said last year you had over 8,000 events in 96 countries?
Yes.
So, but I assume you don't do all these events, so you just aggregate them or put them on one platform?
So we do not organize anything for a number of different reasons. However, we coordinate. We assist in whatever way possible. We report back to Copus. We report back to partners, sponsors, to space agencies. And we make sure that all events that are in the calendar are visible. We promote them on our social media channels. We have a special highlight section that further supports really impactful, really interesting events, and we are really trying to make sure that these events are visible. I can say that in 2019, over this week, we had 14 million impressions on Twitter alone. This shows the number of people Workspace Week can reach, and this is really something that we, as the association, as well as our sponsors, partners, donors, participants, have to leverage, is this being connected to a very large group of people that care about the same thing.
Okay. So no, this year, 2020, is, I wouldn't say a special year, that sounds too positive, but it's for us all a very challenging year. So what can you do today? So how can we take part this year, or how can we celebrate it this year? Is it just an online thing then?
My personal view, and you know this, Torsten, I said this many times, is that every challenge, every difficulty is a masked opportunity. Since the beginning of the year, since March, we've been discussing in the association what can be done, because we don't just care about the fact that probably we will see a decline in number of events. What we want is for all the people that participate really be involved. And we've been discussing for quite some time what are ways to celebrate Workspace Week and still be a part of something really big. And of course, there are safe and exciting ways to celebrate Workspace Week, regardless of the current pandemic. And our theme this year is Satellites Improve Life. And one way is definitely the observation of satellites. If, for example, we look at the sky after sunset, when it's dark, we go outside, we can turn off any outdoor lights that we have. And after we adjust to the darkness, look at the stars, you can easily tell what is a satellite from a star, because satellite is moving slowly. And sometimes it may even appear to blink. And if we do that with our peers, with our children, we can really expand the knowledge on satellites. There's a number of applications that people can use to be able to see what is above them. There's a number of websites that allows them to see what is, again, above them during that specific time or specific position, and allows them to basically observe them, learn about them, because the information that you're gonna get is also what the satellites do. The brightest of all is, of course, the International Space Station. And this massive laboratory is operated by a number of countries and is permanently crewed. And we can again use their websites to predict when they're going to pass us. So even the telescopes, binoculars, they're not needed to observe satellites. With naked eye, we can identify many of them, and we can learn from this. So based on that, I can say that there is, of course, a number of things that families can do together on this specific theme, especially now that a lot of children are not going to school. So I think this gives a unique opportunity to everyone to really involve their families. On the other hand, we also had a lot of communication with our organizers, with different organizations. I do have to mention Suparco here, because they've been an incredible partner for all these years. And we had discussed on how to get as many participants involved as possible, and they found ways how to engage people even from their homes. So even if you organize a competition or a webinar, that is all possible, and it can still happen even in from the safety of your own home. Okay,
so the theme of this year is Satellites Improve Life. So can you please talk about that a bit more, and maybe also give us some highlights of this year? So
I believe that we take everything that is at our disposal for granted. sometimes. I'm not going to go into details and explain what satellites do, because I am aware of the fact that most of the attendees probably know more about satellite technology than I ever will understand. But if we just look at the obvious examples from Earth observation, agriculture, even humanitarian, we can track paths of animals, even people, if necessary, all for the sake of betterment. Mm-hmm. From my personal point of view, I have to say that satellite technology was what managed to, at least I'm speaking from my own personal view, keep me connected with everyone I care about from different parts of the world. You know, these things are not to be underestimated, how important it is that even when we are supposed to be isolated or away, we can still find ways how to get together. And right now, given the current situation, I think this is the absolute first and foremost what kept us sane, at least me. On the other hand, I would also like to mention telemedicine, because we've seen an increase from last year to this year that was enormous and unexpected because of this same technology that helped people track and also participate and stay in communication with their physicians, with their doctors, and everyone who could offer them help when they needed it.
Okay. Good. I mean, you mentioned our very informed audience, which we are very proud of, and I would like to pick up one of these questions, and that also came to my mind when you talked about families going out and looking at the satellite as a star. So you talked about satellites, and there's a question from Ayush, I hope that's correctly pronounced. You talked about satellite. What is your take on the space debris and the jurisdiction of that? Are attribution to states for their debris can be a step into a space law regime? What is your view on that?
So again, this is from my personal view that is not connected to the association and what we do. But as Torsten, you mentioned before, my PhD is going to be focusing on space traffic management. Right now, there is no internationally legal regime. I do think it's very important because the number of satellites, the number of objects we have in space is going to expand, and is going to keep expanding. It's going to be increasing. We need to bear in mind that these are not, I don't want to talk about restrictions and how to do things that will limit our progress and everything that we can achieve, but we do have to do all this in a sustainable way, in a way that is not only going to protect something far, far, far away in space, but also us on Earth, because space debris is a threat to us as well. And we should keep that in mind, I believe. I do think there is a number of things that everyone should be doing in that regard. I think that discussion on space debris is absolutely necessary. It doesn't always have to be in a huge international setting. I think we should start by informing our peers, informing our children, informing our colleagues, students on this issue, and start a debate. And here again, I have to say, Workspace Week is the ideal forum for that. While
will you have a space debris topics, space debris events in your or in the World Space Week this year? And how can I find it? Can I search for it, or how does it work?
I hope that there will be. First, so the way it works is that you go to our website and you register your event. And this event is going to be on the list where you can find it. You can find it in your vicinity. You can see if it's a global event, if it's private or public. So once you register the event, it shows on the website. And once it's there, we can promote it. We promote it on social media. So individuals can organize such events. If you're, for example, Torsten, I know that you're also interested in space debris. You can organize an event, register it, and invite people that will come, for example, to a webinar like this, and discuss different ways on how to tackle this issue. So it really depends whether you want to organize something or you want to participate.
Mm-hmm.
I cannot, unfortunately, say whether there will be a lot of events on space debris, but I do know that I've been in touch with a very dear friend of mine who is already planning to organize something on this specific topic, and is going to be dedicated to second graders. So space debris for kids.
Okay.
Because these topics can be engaging to younger populations as well, if we find proper ways, of course.
Absolutely. Let's take another question from Mina here. How can World Space Week discuss and address this threat to ground-based astronomy posed by satellites? How can we encourage students to innovate, to find solutions, and get involved in the policy discussions? So, I mean, that connects to your last answer, I assume. Yeah?
So, yeah, of course. As I need to stress this very firmly. The association takes no stance on policy.
Okay.
The reason why we don't do that is not that we don't care or that we don't have opinions. We do not do that because we want to ensure that World Space Week remains open for everyone. Regardless of your gender, religion, age, geography, any other possible factor, we want to ensure that everyone who wants to talk about space over that week can. We don't want to close doors. We open the doors. And World Space Week in this regard serves as a platform. I am sure that students and young professionals such as Mina can organize events themselves and open this discussion. And of course, we as association that coordinates World Space Week, what we can do is make sure that these discussions get visibility. This is what we can do as the association.
Okay. Roger asked, just wondering, which are the major spacefaring countries that don't yet participate in the Space Week? Are there any?
That's a very interesting question. I'm gonna have to say yes and no. They're all participating. Are they participating as much as we would like to see? No. But that is not because their events are not big or important or there. I just really, again, and this might be my personal bias, but I do firmly believe that World Space Week should be even better and bigger, because all of you matter. And we are interested to hear what people are doing. We really want to know. And we are curious on to see what different debates and different challenges and issues people come up with to discuss and organize events around them. I think everything is open for opportunity, basically, for everyone who participates. So we do have a good relationship with countries that participate in World Space Week, and I do hope that we will maintain it. I'm sure we will. There's no reason not to, because they're all amazing partners. And every year when we see reports and records, we are all so happy to see how proud they are of their participants. It really warms the heart to see how much people can come together when necessary. And yeah, I would like to see that countries would participate even more.
I think one of your colleagues, Armengol, or I hope it's an he, just pointed out to your website and the nations list, and also with the hint of contact your national coordinator for details. I think that's a wise thing, and we will put the link into our email, or we will send out then with the talk here. Another one is World Space Week collaborating with some specific galleries or art institutions. Valerie asked, I love the connection between science and art, and as an artist myself, would like to collaborate and network with scientists and other space experts.
So again, I need to stress that I'm talking from the point of view of the association. We do not organize events, we collaborate.
That's the question, yeah.
I do hope that amazing artists such as Valerie will get in touch with galleries or centers that are, maybe space museums that could put up exhibitions and be dedicated to this. This is absolutely an option. You can always do that. Even as an individual, if you put together something space related and you find a way to showcase it, to broadcast it to the wider public, that can be a World Space Week event, as long again as it's in the calendar and is within the guidelines for organizational events.
Okay, great, got it. So as people are heading now to next month's World Space Week, and that's over, I mean, all the events are potentially planned already. What is on the horizon for next year? So how will you top that up?
Oh, 2021 is going to be
as you mentioned,
amazing.
This year of opportunities.
If 2020 was a year of opportunity, wait for 2021. As I said at the beginning, we declare a theme for World Space Week every year. This theme is Satellites Improve Life. I don't think that when we decided on this theme, we had absolutely no idea how crucial satellites technologies will be for all of us on everyday life. Even when we didn't realize it at the beginning, it became clear that without satellites we cannot coexist the way we want to, because closeness is lost. However, 2021 is going to be dedicated to women in space. In that regard, we want to showcase all incredible achievements that women contributed to space technologies, to space applications, and STEM all around the world. We hope to engage a number of female ambassadors who will be willing to go to schools and promote World Space Week and promote this achievement, so we can really showcase everything that has been done. We will focus on SDG 5 in this regard, on gender equality. And I spoke with many, I need to stress this, it's really important that we are not talking about just women, we're talking about gender equality. We're talking about the fact that we have to work together, not just women together and men together, all of us together. And I'm hoping that next year is going to showcase precisely that. In the next weeks, we will declare our honorary chair for World Space Week 21. So please stay tuned, because we have big plans for next year.
So to give our audience an idea about the level, so who is the chair for this year?
This year, our amazing chair, who was a great contributor and was really supporting World Space Week, is Mr. Steve Collar, the CEO of SES. We've been working with SES since last fall, and they were an amazing partner when it comes to sharing how satellites can improve life, to materials, and to engage public, and also other companies that are supporting us.
Okay, thank you very much. So one final question, which I'm asking all our guests that are in the politics or in this area of the agencies. So what do we have to do? What do we have to do now or next for a sustainable future in space? I think that goes along with this year's theme, as satellites are so important and we are about to pollute all of that. And so
that is an incredibly important question.
And I know that, as you mentioned, that you don't have to have an opinion on that, but I'm asking now your personal one.
My personal opinion is that start at home. Start at home by realizing how privileged we all are to be able to use these technologies in the first place. I think this is the first step. Once you realize how dependent we are on technologies that we take for granted, I think a lot of things in perception change. And once those change, you can join different organizations. You can participate in events like Workspace Week. You can organize a lot of events, a lot of webinars, by talking to your peers, by talking to your schools. Even if you're a student, don't underestimate how loud your voice can be when you decide that something is worth talking about. And that applies for everything, obviously. But when it comes to space, there is a number of organizations all around the world that allows especially young people and also all like established professionals to come together in different fora and discuss ideas and discuss ways how to move forward. If this is done, and these ideas come to our decision makers, to people who then draft laws and regulations, then they are lifelike and actually reflect the real picture, what reality is, and at the same time protect all of us. So my advice to everyone would be to get engaged with your local community, first with your friends, then with your peers, and then expand that circle by talking about issues that matter.
Great. Thank you very much. Very, very exciting words. I'm afraid we have to come to an end as we are sharply on our 33 minutes. Even so, I would like to talk with you and continue this exciting chat. But please be sure that we will follow up with the World Space Week event and do some more coverage on our Space Café web talks or in our magazine. I would like to make some special announcements, and that also goes along with the World Space Week. For tomorrow, to start with, we would like to point out the Secure World Foundation 2020 Summit. Get registered there. They have an awesome lineup of speakers and topics they will discuss. It's a fully digital, fully virtual event, and so everybody has a chance to join that. But also, in order to value the World Space Week, and it's a new series of our Space Café web talks, I would like to announce now Moriba's Vox Populi, a conversation Professor Maruska Strah will have with people on space environmentalism. Okay, you know what I mean, our space security and space sustainability. This will be a very exciting event series, and that will start on October 8th as part of the World Space Week. So we will register this event to make it part of your catalog very soon. On the 17th of September, on our regular Space Cafés, so we will have Professor Chris Newman from the Northumbria University, and I will discuss with him the UK space policy Back to the Future. 22nd, I will talk with the wonderful Natalia Archinat from the Foreign Affairs Ministry of Switzerland and the current chair of the Scientific and Technical Subcommittee of UN COPUS about Switzerland's contribution to space sustainability. And on 29th of September, I will have the honor to talk to Dr. Bhavya La from the IDA Science and Technology Policy Institute on China's recent commercial space developments. All events are online on Eventbrite. As always, we would like to hear your feedback, so please check in with us on Twitter, on Facebook, and on LinkedIn. Don't forget to sign up to our daily or bi-weekly newsletters. And if you like to treat yourself with something very special, become a Space Watcher today. Your support will help us to continue our independent journalism for the news and these kind of web talks. Take your credit card and visit our fan shop at shop.SpaceWatch.Global. Thank you all very much for your interest today, and thank you very much, Maruska, for your exciting talk and being my guest. And thanks again to the entire team behind the scenes for doing this great job week by week again. I hope you all will stay safe and stay healthy. And again, Thanks for joining us. I hope to see you next week. In the meantime, visit our website and follow us on social media. Don't forget, become a space watcher. Just to visualize it, become a space watcher. Cool. Thank you very much. Have a great one. And thanks, Maruska. Bye.
Thank you, Torsten. Bye.
Bye.